On January 26, 2013, a 21-year-old Canadian woman named Elisa Lam checked into the infamous Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles. She was full of hope, ambition, and excitement, chasing her dreams in a city that had long captured the imagination of artists and dreamers. Less than a month later, her lifeless body was discovered floating in the hotel's rooftop water tank under deeply disturbing and mysterious circumstances. To this day, her death continues to captivate millions worldwide, sparking countless theories, debates, and documentaries. What really happened to Elisa Lam? Was it foul play, a tragic accident, or something far stranger? Let's take a deep dive into one of the most unsettling real-life mysteries of the 21st century, Elisa's last known movements. The last confirmed sighting of Elisa Lam alive came from a surveillance video that quickly went viral after it was released by police. The footage, taken from one of the hotel's elevators, showed Elisa behaving in a way many found deeply disturbing. Initially, everything seemed normal. Elisa entered the elevator and pressed multiple floor buttons, but when the doors didn't close, her behavior shifted dramatically. She peeked outside, cautiously stepped in and out of the elevator, then moved erratically as if she were hiding from someone or something unseen. She was seen waving her hands in strange gestures, pressing herself into the elevator's corner and behaving as though she was in a frantic conversation with someone just out of view. Eventually, she walked off screen and was never seen alive again. To some, her behavior seemed paranoid, frightened, and frantic. To others, it looked like a sign of a supernatural encounter. And to others still, it was a tragic display of a person experiencing a severe mental health episode. Who was Elisa Lam? Elisa Lam was a bright, introspective young woman from Vancouver, Canada. A student at the University of British Columbia, she aspired to become a writer and shared her thoughts and struggles on her blog, where she wrote candidly about her emotions, experiences, and battles with mental illness. Elisa was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression. Her blog posts revealed someone who was deeply self-aware, articulate, reflective, and resilient, even as she documented her personal challenges. Her solo trip to California was meant to be a liberating adventure. Traveling by herself, Elisa planned to visit San Diego, Los Angeles, and other parts of the West Coast. Her parents, understandably cautious, asked her to call home every day to check in. And for the first few days, she did. Then the calls stopped. The Hotel of Death. The Cecil Hotel wasn't just any old hotel in downtown Los Angeles. It had a legacy drenched in mystery, death, and tragedy. Since opening in 1927, it had been the site of numerous suicides, murders, and criminal incidents. It's also rumored to have housed infamous serial killers like Richard Ramirez, also known as the Night Stalker. With over a dozen deaths associated with the hotel, it had earned a chilling nickname, the Hotel of Death. Elisa checked into the hotel unaware of its haunting past. Initially staying in a shared room, she was later moved to a private room after her roommates complained of her unusual behavior, placing post-it notes on their beds with strange messages like, "Go away." Reports also mention erratic speech and behavior that seemed out of place. Whether these were early signs of a mental health crisis or something more sinister has been hotly debated ever since. The investigation begins. When Elisa failed to contact her parents for several days, her family filed a missing persons report with the Los Angeles Police Department. Investigators searched the hotel thoroughly, including hallways, stairwells, and even the rooftop, but turned up nothing. Then came the release of the elevator video. The unsettling footage sparked a frenzy online. Amateur sleuths, paranormal enthusiasts, and internet detectives began to dissect every frame, seeking hidden clues and anomalies. Theories ranged from plausible to downright bizarre. Was she being followed? Was someone edited out of the video? Was she experiencing hallucinations or a psychotic episode? Could there be a supernatural element at play? The most haunting part? No one could explain how she disappeared from a building with cameras, staff, and locked access points, only to end up in one of the most inaccessible places in the hotel. The gruesome discovery. Nearly 3 weeks after she vanished, hotel guests began complaining about low water pressure, dark-tinted water, and a strange taste. Staff were sent to inspect the water tanks on the roof. That's when they found her. Elisa's naked body was discovered floating face up in one of the 4 cylindrical water tanks that supplied the hotel's guest rooms, kitchen, and cafe. Her clothes were found floating nearby. There were no external injuries, no signs of sexual assault, and no evidence of physical trauma. Guests had unknowingly consumed water from the same tank Elisa's body had been decomposing in for days. The discovery made headlines across the world and raised even more questions. The rooftop riddle. How did she get there? The rooftop of the Cecil Hotel wasn't somewhere guests could easily access. The doors leading to it were locked and equipped with alarms. The water tanks themselves were large, heavy, and hard to climb into, even harder to close from the inside. This led many to believe Elisa could not have reached the tanks by herself, or at least not without help. If she was murdered, how did the killer avoid tripping alarms? If she went there alone, how did she get in, and why? However, it was later revealed that some fire escapes and ladders on the exterior of the hotel could potentially give someone access to the roof, and the lids to the tanks were sometimes left unsecured. Still, it's not a route most people could take without considerable effort or purpose. Theories and speculation. Following the discovery of Elisa Lam's death, several theories emerged to explain the mysterious circumstances. Some speculated that paranormal forces were at play, fueled by the hotel's eerie history and Elisa's unsettling behavior in the elevator, which gained traction in online forums and horror-themed media. Others suspected a murder cover-up, pointing to anomalies in the elevator footage such as a missing timestamp in apparent edits, suggesting possible involvement by hotel staff, guests, or even law enforcement. However, the most grounded explanation centered on Elisa's mental health. Suffering from bipolar disorder, her toxicology reports suggested she was under-medicating or skipping doses, which could have triggered hallucinations, paranoia, and erratic behavior consistent with her actions in the elevator. The autopsy and official ruling. The coroner's report ruled Elisa's death as accidental drowning, though the cause remained inconclusive. There was no evidence of foul play, sexual assault, or trauma. While traces of her prescribed medication were found in her system, some critical antipsychotic drugs were either missing or below therapeutic levels. This supported the theory that she was having a manic or psychotic episode at the time of her death, perhaps driven by the effects of untreated bipolar disorder. Still, for many, the explanation didn't bring closure. It seemed impossible that a young woman could simply vanish into a tank on a locked rooftop with no one noticing. A tragic symbol of mental health struggles. As the years passed, many began to see Elisa Lam not just as a mysterious figure in a viral video, but as a deeply human symbol of something even more haunting. The quiet battles so many fight inside their own minds. The frenzy around her death often overlooked her real story. A young woman coping with mental illness, trying to find her place in the world, writing her truth online, and ultimately falling through the cracks of a system that failed to protect her. Instead of sensationalizing her death, her story became a powerful reminder of the importance of mental health support, empathy, and awareness. Legacy and impact. The story of Elisa Lam inspired books, podcasts, documentaries, and even a season of American Horror Story. The Netflix docuseries Crime Scene, The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel, reignited interest in her case in 2021, although critics argued it sensationalized her tragedy. But beyond media and theories, Elisa Lam's story became a rallying cry for mental health advocacy. Her blog, once a quiet corner of the internet, became a window into the mind of someone struggling with mental illness, not as a villain, but as a vulnerable, articulate, and brave individual. If this story made you think, if it gave you chills, or even just made you feel something, then hit that like, and don't forget to subscribe. What do you think really happened to Elisa Lam? Was it a tragic accident, something more sinister, or something we may never understand? Drop your theories in the comments below. I read every one. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.